Poltergeist activity has been recorded throughout history and is probably the most prolific of all supernatural events. It really can be terrifying enough when a poltergeist makes its presence known within a household. Activity often proceeds with knocks and bangs on the doors and walls. Household items will start disappearing and then reappearing, often in a completely different place. Furniture has been reported moving of its own accord. Stones, pebbles, and even rocks have reportedly been thrown around a property. This is surely enough to strike fear in the hearts of anybody unfortunate enough to encounter such activity. However, when a poltergeist finds its voice and starts to communicate verbally, you know things have decidedly taken a turn for the worst. And if you weren't already concerned, then you probably should be. This is the case of the Bingen Poltergeist. Poltergeist phenomena is often placed in the same niche as ghosts and hauntings. The implication is that a poltergeist is a ghost, i.e. a human that has died and returned in spirit form. Now, while there is no doubt that there are similarities between ghosts and poltergeist activity, a haunting by a ghost or spirit often tends to have the visual element. For example, a glowing figure dressed in old-fashioned clothes is seen walking down a hallway, maybe even through a solid wall or closed door. A haunting also repeats in the same way on a regular basis, much like a recording that is played back over and over again. In long-term ghostly hauntings, a ghost will usually ignore entreaties from the living and shows no signs of awareness of its surroundings. Poltergeist activity, on the other hand, operates in a completely different fashion. A poltergeist almost never makes an appearance as a visible apparition. There have of course been exceptions, but these are few and far between. A poltergeist demonstrates the ability and willingness to interact with the physical world. Documented cases have shown reports of poltergeists moving heavy furniture, instantaneously teleporting personal items, producing loud, sometimes explosive sounds, dispelling foul and disgusting odours, often described as a rotten egg smell. They've been known to produce puddles of water inside a building, cause spontaneous fires, and plenty of other types of phenomena that seem to defy the laws of physics. A poltergeist is extremely aware of its surroundings, and will often quickly respond to suggestions by observers and other external stimuli. This demonstrates that there is some level of intelligence and intention behind the activity, and not just some random acts of psychokinesis. Now, this intelligence, along with the ability to communicate, will manifest in a myriad of different ways. Pieces of paper with strange messages turn up out of nowhere. Writing will appear on the walls. Children's toys will be arranged to make words, and perhaps the most disturbing of all, they will sometimes start to communicate verbally. Just imagine relaxing for the night, ready to watch your favourite TV show, when all of a sudden, a voice emerges from the dark corner of the room. Terrifying. When a poltergeist decides to start making its presence known audibly, it generally starts out as whistles or animal-like growls and whispers that slowly evolve into discernible words. Most well-documented cases of poltergeist activity never develop to a level where they demonstrate this level of communication. However, once they do, a clear personality will start to emerge from what previously seemed like a random chain of events. One of the earliest recorded cases of poltergeist activity was the Bingen Poltergeist, which comes from the annals of Fulda. This incident happened near Bingen in present-day Bavaria, around 856 to 858 CE. The story goes that a farmer was plagued by a stone-throwing ghost who at first the farmer believed was just children playing pranks on him. He blamed his own children initially, before blaming other children around the village. That was until the activity took a more sinister turn when the poltergeist shook the walls of his house as though the men of the place were striking it with hammers. The entity then proceeded to set crops on fire and also shouted obscenities and accusations at the farmer, suggesting that he had sexual relations with the daughter of his foreman. The farmer was known to be a bitter old man who was anything but nice to his neighbours. The poltergeist would relentlessly follow the man wherever he went, to the extent where neighbours were so fearful of the farmer and his ghost that they would simply refuse to allow him to set foot on their property. The farmer sought out a group of Carolingian monks for aid, and although they performed an exorcism, it didn't seem to vanquish the poltergeist, which the farmer had started to believe was a demon, possibly even the devil himself sent to torture him for his sins. The farmer, armed with his suspicions, reported to the monks that the activity started with knocking and banging on walls and doors inside his home. The disturbances had been severe enough to keep his family awake all night, every night. However, the torment only escalated from there, as stones of all sizes rained down onto his roof and even through his window, at times striking him where he lay. The farmer began to believe that he had been the victim of a witch's curse, as his crops burned and turned to ash, and his livestock started to perish from a mysterious illness. Whatever the reason was for the farmer becoming a target of this poltergeist's vicious assault, it was becoming clear that the entity was hell-bent on destroying the farmer's life. Eventually, the reason for the haunting became a lot clearer when the public learned that the farmer had been molesting his own children, along with other children around the village. Some speculate that one of the children could have placed a malicious curse known as the evil eye on the farmer, or that one of his own children who was going through puberty inadvertently released a powerful supernatural force which targeted the farmer. The Bishop of Mainz sent priests with holy relics who attested to hearing the poltergeist denouncing the farmer for adultery. When the priests sang hymns and sprinkled holy water, the poltergeist responded by attacking the priests with a barrage of stones and vile curses. Whatever really happened in this case cannot be known with any real degree of certainty outside of the information that has been passed down for almost 12 centuries. It's believed that after the failed exorcism, the farmer either ran away or simply went crazy and died on the farm. The Bingen Poltergeist had many typical features of a poltergeist that are still repeated in modern times. The fact that this poltergeist could talk is something that has been seen in other cases, but nevertheless, it really doesn't happen that often at all.